I wanted to ask you about connecting back with, if a guy calls you, are you supposed to call back in the next 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 40 minutes? What is the sense of urgency that a woman should show in returning a guy's call?
Well, a woman does need to be courteous and return the man's call. So many times, my male clients will email me or call me and say, "Well, I called the girl that you gave me her number, but she hasn't. It's been a day." Or it's been 2 days and she hasn't called me back. They say that's a bad sign. She's going to be too difficult. She's too busy for a relationship, or she doesn't care, and it's really bad. So there's nothing wrong with returning a man's call promptly. It's just courteous. The whole everyone does get confused about this phone call thing, and why hasn't he called? He said he'd call, or should I call him back, or should I call him? And it makes us crazy. I would say to the ladies, let him initiate the calls, but do call him back. If he wants to talk to you, he'll call you. If he wants to ask you out, he will call you. But always be courteous and return the call. And it gets exhausting. And then the phone tag, people are so busy working and doing all these things. If you don't return the call, and then you're going to be doing phone tag for a week, and then the whole thing fizzles out, and you never meet, and it could have been your soulmate.
Right. What is your advice on women contacting men? What level of caution should they exercise?
Well, men still do like the chase. That's just goes back to our caveman days. It's just in the DNA. They like to make the somehow, even if they don't realize it, it might be flattering if a woman approaches a man or kind of takes the lead. The man's like, oh wow, she likes me, or she thinks I'm hot. But the man really needs that chance to pursue the woman. So just let the man take the lead on it. And I used to do the same thing. I'd think, oh, I'm going to call the guy. He hasn't called me. Should I call him? And then I'd call, and it never worked out. And finally I told myself, Marla, if he wants to talk to you, he'll call you.
He'll find a way,
He'll
right?
find a
Okay.
way. And they will lock you down for those weekend dates. They won't want another guy. If they're really interested, they won't want another guy to be snatching you up. They want to make sure that they've got that Friday and Saturday night date with you, and that they have the chance to be in a relationship with you if they're really interested.
Okay, well, I think that's an excellent point. If they want to be with you, they'll find a way. So if they're not with you, there's a reason. Now, they could be busy doing something, or they could have, other women in their pool. So if you have a Saturday night date, you can assign some importance to that you are important, that you earned a Saturday night date. The Tuesday afternoons and the Wednesday nights, those are fine in the beginning before you actually have a relationship. So there really is some status to having a solid weekend date. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And another clue, if a guy is serious, is he introducing you to his friends? Is he introducing you to his family? What kind of terminology is he using? I dated a man before my husband who clearly, when he was talking on the phone to one of his friends, and I was there, it was a long distance relationship, so I was there staying with him for like 5 days, and he said on the other line, well, I was standing right there. Oh, I'm just running some errands with my dog Drake today. I mean, there was no mention that I was even existed. And then he was also looking for a house to buy in another city, telling me all about it, but clearly I was not going to be involved. And also one of his friends, he was going to be a best man in a wedding, and he was on the phone with him saying, hey, dude, it's not too late to get out of it. You don't have to do this. So that was all in
Wow.
front of me. So it was clearly signals that I should have ran immediately, because he had no intention of having a long-term relationship with me, and that's what turned out to be as well.
Okay, well those are pretty solid signals
Solid.
there.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
don't want to see them. We just brush them aside and say, well, he didn't mean it.
Yeah. Also, Rupta is back on Blog TV and saying one of the most important things is to be authentic. Could you comment on that, Marla?
Absolutely. I remember one of my girlfriends when I lived back in Chicago. She had a crush on the guy who lived upstairs, and he was dating a woman, and she used to listen to in the wall, and she could hear their conversations. And she says, that girl is a ding-a-ling, and she's like a dumb blonde type, but I really like him. Maybe should I change my personality to be like that? Is that what men want? Maybe I should act dumb? And I said, "Are you kidding? You're going to be like Sybil, switching your personalities for every guy." I said, "You just have to be yourself and be authentic, and you're going to find the right guy." So absolutely, we have to be ourselves. Sometimes we have to do some work on ourselves to be our best selves, but we have to be ourselves.
Yeah. Well, it's not the right guy. If you have to change everything about yourself, it's not the right guy because it's unsustainable. You can carry on like that for a month,